Hey, Daniel. Can't hear you. Sorry, I was in the wrong room. I can't hear you. Hold on one second. There you go. Hello?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I went in at first and it said they were in something about another meeting, so I figured it was another room, and so I just rebooted.
Cool. Sorry about that.
No problem.
We're having a little bit of a late start today.
Did you guys sleep?
We slept.
Good. You guys are a good, 14, 15, 16 hours from LA or from Pacific ahead of us, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Hi, welcome. I'm gonna make a quick go live in the meeting or in the group to tell everyone that we are live. And hi everyone, we're starting our fourth session right now. Got some people tuning in. We're a little bit late this morning because I accidentally opened the wrong chat room, but we are live. So please join us. We're going to be doing guided meditation, and then Mary's going to be teaching us about numerology. So join whenever you can. It is the same Zoom link. It's always the same Zoom link. So you couldn't receive the email, just anywhere that you had the email before with the Zoom link, you can join with that link. Okay. Sorry, we decided to sleep an extra hour this morning. Then
I bet you guys were tired. Yeah, it's been for a few days nonstop, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a lot of work and a lot of energy, but we are ready to go. We had a little clearing session. I'm just going to post the live video in the group. Just give me 1 second. And in the meantime, while I'm posting that, if you have a candle, you can go ahead and grab it. So yeah, if you have a candle. If you don't, it's totally fine.
I'd have to look.
The flame.
What about my sage?
Sage is good.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going Facebook Live. Where did it take me? Okay. Hi, Simona. Hi, everyone. So sorry for the late start, but better late than never. As whoever says, hello, Astrid. Welcome. Good to see some beautiful faces. Okay. So, welcome. Let's go ahead and begin today with a short meditation, and then I'll show you how to clear your energies, a little bit of an energy clearing with a candle and a lime, if you have a lime. I didn't tell everyone before, but Mary and I, we were just doing this morning because it's really powerful, and as we're leading and everyone's attention is on us, we actually can take a lot of energy and a lot of people's emotions and clear them. So it's really important that whenever you're leading anything, that you know how to take care of your energy, because when people are looking at you and people have their attention on you, because you're energetic person, you can actually like take in that energy. And as healers, we're not only taking in that energy, but we're helping to clear that energy. So this morning we were doing a little bit of clearing, and we weren't watching the time, so it pushed us a little late, but that's okay, because now we're more energetically available for you all. So let's go ahead and start by just closing our eyes. And just arrive here at this session. Become aware of your breath as it rises and falls in your chest. And spread open the palms of your hands. And like we've said at the beginning of every meditation, you can place your hands on the center of your chest and do it in a way where you feel your preciousness. Feel how precious this life is that beats inside of your chest. And here say within yourself, I give myself permission to be here in this space and in this time. I give myself permission to arrive to this virtual session with all of myself, all of my emotions, all of my problems, all of my baggage, all of my strengths. Everything is welcome here. I have nothing to be ashamed of. And as your host, I honor each of you. I honor the sacred container that each of you are. I honor your struggles, both invisible and visible. I honor all your emotions, both challenging and positive. You are a human being, so be all that you are, and don't apologize. Feel all that you feel fully. If you feel sad, feel it fully. If you feel angry, feel it fully. If you are stressed, feel it fully. If you feel love, feel it fully. If you feel joy and healing, feel it fully. with your entire being. And within your space, I want you to say out loud, I am here. I am here. I am here. So bring your hands down. Welcome, welcome, welcome. In the next session, session 5, we're going to have a very talented singer, a really good friend of mine who's going to sing shlokas for the different chakras. And we're going to work with this energy called Kundalini. Now, raise your hand or say in the chat if you've ever heard of this energy, Kundalini. Okay, so a couple people. So the Kundalini is just an energy that resides within the sacrum bone at the base of our spine. And this energy, when it is awakened through meditation, it rises through the spine and it passes through all of the different subtle energy centers, chakras. Now, a lot of people think chakras are a bunch of hoo-ha, hippy-dippy bullshit. However, if you look at the central nervous system, you can see that there are 7 nervous plexuses along the spinal cord. They're basically like if the spinal cord was a bundle of cords. Think of like telephone wires, and then these are the main wires. But there's different circuits, and those circuits send more wires to different parts of the body. So the cardiac plexus is an actual physical bundle of nerves that transmits energy to the heart and to the lungs. The cervical plexus is the throat, and the solar plexus is the digestion and everything. So when the Kundalini is awakened, a lot of people have probably read books and heard like it's some intense experience. It's not an intense experience. It is a very subtle experience. And this energy begins to rise through these energy centers, and it begins to clear them. When you just allow this energy to do its job, there's not really anything that you actually need to do. So rather than talking about it, I want you to experience it. There is no prerequisites for you to have an awakening. That's like you having prerequisites to be born. You don't need prerequisites to be born, okay? It just happens, and it is a natural process. Like all natural processes within our body, just because we don't see them or we don't understand them with our mind doesn't mean they are not happening. When I am a child, I cannot see my bones growing. When I get a cold, I cannot see my white blood cells going to attack that virus, right? So there are all of these natural living processes within us, and just because we're not aware of them doesn't mean that they are not happening. So we have this beautifully composed spiritual system of energy within us called the subtle system. And we have a left channel, and it crosses over the right side of the brain. So this would be our creative side and our emotional side. We have a right channel that crosses over from the left side of the brain. This is our logical, future-oriented, and planning side. Then we have a center channel that ascends through the middle. And this is where the Kundalini rises. So each of our chakras has a left side, a center, and a right side. And they can be balanced to the right or balanced to the left, and we want them to be in the center. Now, because the right is about planning and future orientation, when we are overactive and overthinking and overplanning, the right side, our chakras start to bend to the right. If you find yourself having a hard time calming your mind, having a hard time sitting still, you're waking up in bed, and like, this is me during Insideology. I'm waking up at 6:30 a.m. and I'm like, I've got to do a million things. I need to balance my right side. The left side would be heaviness. This would be heavy emotions. This would be things from the past. So if you've been tuning into the sessions, we've been bringing up a lot of stuff from the past, a lot of emotions that can be very heavy. And so whereas the right side is like the gas pedal, I can't hit the brake, I'm over accelerating. The left side is the brake. Okay, so when your emotions are too heavy, when you're too much into the past, it doesn't allow you to move forward. The center is the present moment. Okay, and so when we sit in meditation, the left and the right side, they start to bubble on top of our head when they're overactive. And when that happens, it doesn't allow us to be in the center. So when the Kundalini rises, it starts to create a gap in that bubble, and that gap is where meditation happens. In the bubble is where the thoughts come from, either from the past or from the future. So in the next session, we'll do a little bit more of this, but I'm going to give you the very basic to awaken this. Now, in the palms of your hands, you have all of the nerve endings of your body. So your chakras are represented in the palms of your hands. You don't need to know which chakras there are, but I will show you: Muladhara, root chakra; Swadhisthana, sacral chakra; Anahata, heart chakra; Agya, third eye chakra; Nabi, solar plexus chakra; Vishuddhi, throat chakra. In the center is the crown chakra, on the head, and surrounding this is what we call the void. And I don't have time to explain that. So as we do this, I just want you to be aware of the sensations in your hands. You don't need to know what or where they are. You might feel things in the left or in the right, and that is just your own subtle system of energy relaying itself to you. So the easiest, simplest way to awaken this energy is to do what we call raising the Kundalini. So you just take your left hand in front of you, and your right hand is going to move around it like this. So you're coming down and up and around, okay? So you guys do this, and you start at the base of your spine in front of you, and you raise this energy up and tie one knot, okay? And close your eyes and move with intention. And know, even if it's just a silly hand movement, it is doing something. Your hands are powerful. So we raise it again and tie it 2 times. 1, 2. We raise it again and tie it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And that's 3 times for each of the 3 channels. Now that the energy, and you want to tie it and you want to secure it, okay? We secure it because some people have said, when I tried meditating, I had this scary outer body experience, and we just want to secure ourselves. The next thing is we put a protection over our auric field, over our energetic field, because once we open ourselves, we are opening ourselves to the energy around us. And if you've ever been in a situation where you're in a room and you're like, I'm really affected by this person's energy, you know, if you have like strong energy people around you. Sometimes, depending on who you are, like me, all of my energy centers are very open. So I can really, as an empath, feel other people's stuff and take it into me. So we always you can raise it, and then you take your right hand in your left hand, and you make an imaginary rainbow over your head. We call it a bandhan. It means a circle of protection. So you go up over your head and back down 7 times. That counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now just open your hands, lift them to your heart center, and close your eyes. And you can just ask within, just ask. We call the Kundalini mother. She is a divine energy of femininity within us. She's like our inner mother. So you can say mother if you're comfortable, or you can say inner energy or Kundalini. So mother, help me to feel my energy centers in the palms of my hands. Now just try to observe, do you feel like a heat, heaviness, tingling, cool breeze, magnetic feeling, any of those things in one palm more than the other, or some fingers more than the other? You can go ahead and share it. Anyone want to share what they feel? Daniel, I'll unmute you. Go ahead.
Yes, I actually feel the magnetic and pulsating in both hands, in the palm, in the middle finger, and in the three fingers, the index, middle, and I feel that really pulsating in both of them. The energy and the nerves too. I can just feel the pulsation. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
One more than the other, or just both?
Almost pretty equal.
Okay, cool. And anyone else want to share? Yeah, Deb, go ahead.
Oh. I don't know what it means, but it was a lot heavier on the right hand.
A lot heavier on the right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would mean that like you probably have a lot going on, a lot of like planning, a lot of things on your mind. Like if you have like an anxious, like unsettled energy, can't really rest, lots of, oh my God, I've got to be here, I've got to do that. That would be like the right side, you know. Maybe at this time you're not necessarily feeling like, I'm so sad, I can't get out of bed, you know, that would be like left side. Right side's more like you probably have a lot of activity going on. And so with that, you want to cool it down. If it's left side, you want to heat it up. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So I'll show you very quickly because Mary is ready. And this was spontaneous. All my meditations are 100% spontaneous. I do not plan any of them, just so you guys know, because I am an intuitive, so I let it flow through me. So I'm going to show you the very, very simple way. We're not going to use the candle this time to clear and balance your entire energy channels. So we'll start with both. So the easiest thing is to place both of your hands on the earth. Okay. And as we've done in the meditations in the earlier sessions, the earth has that magnetic absorption power. So if you're just feeling your energies off, the easiest thing you can do is raise, do your bandhan, we call, and then place your hands on the earth for a couple minutes. So this balances both channels. So just close your eyes. And again, tune into the skin of your palms in this tiny space between the skin of your palms and the earth. And try and feel that buzzing magnetic feeling, that sensitivity in your hands, and this really powerful energy that's in the earth. And so you can say within yourself, Mother Kundalini, please remove any energetic imbalances from my body into the earth. So we'll move quickly, taking the left hand now, put the left hand open in front of you, on your lap or in front of you, and keep your right hand on the earth. So we're clearing the left side now. So the left hand is open, and I want you to imagine, close your eyes, use your bodily awareness that all of the energy from the left side of your body is being exhausted through the right hand and down into the earth. Imagine like you're dumping all of the trash, all of the negative, heavy energy down into the earth from your left channel. So here you can, it's emotions, it's our past. So you can say, I surrender all heaviness, all heavy emotions from my past, from my family, from my experiences to the earth. And maybe you might feel a transfer of energy from your left side down the right into the earth. And you can do this on your own at home until you feel your left hand become lighter and cooler. We always want to go for light and cool. When you feel heat and heaviness, that means that there's clearing happening and it needs more time. So that's the left side. You can return your hand down to your lap. And now you can bring your right hand in front of you. And we're going to clear the right side by taking the left hand up this way over your back towards the sky. And so here, the right side is like heat. It's like fire. So imagine that like you have lifted a lid off of boiling water and you see that steam rising up. So now the exhaust is your left hand, and all of the heat and overactivity, the over planning, is leaving through your left hand towards the sky. So you can say, I surrender all extra energy, extra mental energy, extra heat that is keeping me from feeling peaceful. And again, you hold it here until you feel less heat and less heaviness. You may feel this transfer of energy moving from your right across to the left. And then finally, bring your hands down and just take your right hand now, close your eyes, and I want you to pull this energy. Now watch me, I'm pulling it very slowly and intentionally. And I want you to use your imagination. Has anyone seen the movie Totoro? The kids go out in the garden and they do a dance and they like make the trees grow. So imagine that you're making this plant grow. So it's like slow and intentional, and you're bringing it out the top of your head. Okay, so just do that 3 times. And then after the 3rd time, you can just let your hand hover above the top center of your head and bring your awareness to the space between your hand and your head. Try and see if you can feel a subtle energy here in this space. You can move your hand around, play with the distance. You can tilt your head a little forward. But at this point, if you feel even just a tiny bit of tingling, your Kundalini has reached your crown chakra. It has passed through all of your chakras, and it is now awakened. Surprise! Okay, so that is all we have time for. I hope you guys enjoyed. Does anyone want to share their thoughts really quickly? Did they feel anything? Good. All right, so now we're open. I just wanted to say, like, as an energetic healer, like, this is the work that I do. So in my services, like, I do very deep chakra work, and I clear the left and the right side. I can read all of your chakras and tell you, like, kind of what I'm feeling and what's going on. And this is a different modality than, like, Reiki. It's very unique. So if you're interested in that, take a look at my website. I'm gonna pass it over to Mary. We are having a late start today, so join and say long as you
All right. Thank you so.
Oh, wait, I'm muted. Okay, so Mary's sending a document because we have to use my computer. So I just wanted to say while she's doing that, we keep forgetting to ask for your guys' support. So we are a 2-person team, and we've put this all together, and we have given so much love and energy and time, probably hundreds of hours in the past couple weeks to this. And so if you find this valuable, you know, money is energy, and what you give, you receive, you know, and so it's just another form of energy. So if you found that this was something powerful for you, you know, by supporting us, you enable us to be able to create more of this kind of stuff for you. You know, by supporting us as healers, as intuitive entrepreneurs. This is our livelihood as well. And we're not upselling you. Surprise, something that says it's free online, and we're not like trying to capture your wallets. We literally wanted to give you guys something powerful, but we also have lives as well. So if you could so in the emails, I put a donation link at the bottom of every email, and I'm going to put that in the group today because we just haven't been pushing it. And but definitely, yeah. So I just wanted to mention that. So Mary is ready to go, and I'm gonna exit full screen for you. Yes, to go here.
Yeah. So screen share.
Oh, screen share. Okay. Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I need to see this screen first. Can I see everybody?
When you screen share, it makes everyone small.
I need to ask questions.
Okay, so stop sharing.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, so we're going to do numerology right now, and I'm going to read for each person individually, and you can calculate another person's numbers. So you just need your birthday, and numerology is a study of the divinity or the meaning of numbers, and it originated from Pythagoras, who's a mathematician and philosopher, and I've been doing this for over 10 years, and I've read for thousands of people. So I'm excited to give this to you guys. So what you need is a calculator. You could use your phone, and also pen and paper, or you can use the notepad in your phone. So I'm going to share a screen now. Have you had your numerology read before? Raise your hand if you have. Victor? Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna ask for some responses later, and you can just type in the chat what your numbers are, and I'll read for you. So I'm gonna share the screen. Okay, so I'm going to use my birthday as an example, and I will explain very simply. They're really simple calculations, like first grade. So I'm going to read for your birthday, your attitude number, and then your life path number. So first, the birthday is your daily approach to life and how people see you at first glance. Like this is their first impression of you. So it's the day of your birth. To use me as an example, my birthday's the 28th of November, 1994. So numerology is about calculating things until you get a single digit. So I'm born the 28th. I have to keep adding until a single digit. So here's the example. I have to calculate this. 2 plus 8 equals 10. It's not a single digit yet. I have to keep adding that. So that's 1 plus 0 from the 10, which equals a 1 birthday. So I'm going to see how many. So do you guys have your birthday number yet?
You can.
It's like.
Okay. So calculate your birthday.
Can you guys raise your hands if you are finished calculating your birthday? Okay. Can you type in the chat box what your number turned out to be so I can read for you quick?
You ready to know your life?
Will it appear?
No, it should pop up if they chat. It should
Okay.
say chat. No?
You can stop share.
Oh. Should.
Oh, okay, cool. So for Daniel, you have a 1. For Deb, you have a 1. So I'm going to read that first. I'm a 1 as well, which I just showed. So for one day of birth, how people see you at first glance, you are independent, you are individual, you stand out of the crowd, you think outside of the box, you don't like to live or think very similar to other people, so you stand out. And these people are very, very hardworking, and also they really hold strongly to how different they are, and if somebody talks down on you, you'd likely rebel. But if somebody like praises you, you're going to keep giving that hard work. So birthdays are self-motivated, and it's a leadership quality. And if you don't see yourself as a leader, then you're different in a way. Like when you have a 1 in your chart, these are people who do not like being told what to do, because they like to be first, they like to win, competitive in some way. I don't see myself as like competing with other people. I see myself as I'm different, so I'm going to keep, I like that. That's how I compete. So that's your 1 birthday. And then Simona has 6. So your birthday number is 6, and people's first impression of you is that you are nurturing and that you take care of people's needs. And 6 is like the mother-father energy. So Brennan is a 6 day as well, and he's super, super nurturing. You're seen as somebody who's responsible. Children and pets respond to you really quickly. You're giving off a really warm, nurturing energy where you attract people who need help, who need nurturing. So, and also 6 is authoritative too, because they kind of act like they're a parent sometimes. And I know Brennan does too. Like he always tells me to drink my water. And then for Victor is a 3. So a 3 day of birth is somebody who is seen as a sense of humor, somebody who is a child at heart. 3s like to be on stage in some way, like it could involve writing, speaking, art, design, and somebody who can turn a negative situation into a positive situation. So you have, if you have a 3 in your chart, you have deep emotions. And if you're happy, you affect the room. If you're unhappy, nobody gets to be happy around you. So that's the 3 day, Victor, I can see his face. Okay, and then, okay, so Simona and Yvonne 6. 5, so a 5 day of birth is somebody, at first glance, people see you as somebody who has high energy, somebody who has multiple interests, gets bored easily, likes to have a lot of variety, 5 and 3s have deep emotions, but 5 is super passionate. They can be intense with what they're passionate about. So 5 is somebody who, like, in a room, a lot dynamic, adapt to change very easily. 5 is smack dab in the middle of 1 through 9. So this is the number of change.
Gecko. Did you see it?
Yes, I just saw a gecko down the
We're
wall.
on my wall. We're in Vietnam.
Okay, so Simona, she said it was a 9. 6 is actually her life path. So a 9 day of birth is somebody who, you're seen as somebody who has wisdom. Some people go to you for counsel. 9 is the very last number in numerology, so they hold a lot of wisdom. They hold numbers 1 through 8 in it, and 9's is the most selfless number. They're very caring and compassionate. They want to make the world a better place. So 9 is a number of the entire world. You are very drawn towards, like, helping the community, not just the small group that you're in, like, so community. So if you have a 9 in your chart, which we only did, like,
Sorry.
Okay, so if you have a 9 in your chart, it's usually like a light workers number, a number that's really does a lot of work with volunteering, with charity, nonprofit organizations. So that is your date of birth. Yellow Turtle said 100.
There's no 7s.
Okay, we're not. You're life path 7. We're not life path yet. Okay. So this is people's first impression of you. And then now we're going to do our attitude. So I'm going to share screen.
My attitude is remember Beyonce. Don't do this, just do this.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So here, the next number that we're going to do is your attitude. So you take your month and your day of birth and add it until a single digit. And this is your attitude towards life and how people see you at first conversation. So as an example, I took the 28th of November, reduce it down to single digits. I just did 2 plus 8 plus 1 plus 1, which equals a 12. And that's not a single digit yet. So I add the 12 together. 1 plus 2 equals 3 attitude. So when you get that, type it in so I can read for you.
This is so fun.
I got 4 answers. 2s and 7s. Cool.
It's 2, 7, 7, 2. A double. And a 4. Wow, such a nice order of you guys sharing your numbers.
Yeah, so we have
2, 7,
6
4,
answers. All right. I'm going to start with yellow.
The 2s.
Yeah, the 2s. So yellow turtle. So I'm going to go back to
Nancy.
Okay, Nancy is yellow turtle. All right. Stop share. Okay. So with a 2 attitude, it's your attitude towards life. So this is Nancy and it's Simona. Your attitude towards life and how people see you when they first talk to you. So on their first discussion with you, first conversation, you seem like a peacemaker. You seem like somebody who loves love, and you avoid conflict. Like it's not your nature. And 2s, you seem like somebody who just goes with the flow, who is happy to follow the crowd, and somebody who really values companionship. Because 2, that's the theme, like 2 is better than 1. So like I'm reading vibration. This is the same language. Numbers are the same language all across the world. So that's your attitude towards life. Somebody who's sensitive to energy. So if you have a 2 in your chart, that means you're highly intuitive and highly sensitive to energy. And you like to keep the peace. So 2s are the peacemakers. Also, if you have a 2 in your chart, it's the number that's very popular with other people because they pretty much get along with everyone. Or they put a lot of effort into doing that. And they really, like I said before, value companionship. Ooh, so if you have an 11, someone just said 11, so that's different. If you are an 11 or 22, stop calculating, that's a master number. So master numbers in numerology are numbers that if you have a master number, you feel some type of pressure on a level to master something in your life. It could be your body, it could be artwork, it could be your writing, your projects, your career, your mind. And once you master that, you feel like, great, I feel like I need to master something else. And master numbers, they have a lot, like they feel like I need to do something big. Like I can't just like live a normal life. I feel like I'm very capable of doing something big. So it's just a lot of vitality to master something and continuously feeling pressure to do that. Yvonne said master number, heart. Okay, so we just did 2, we did 11, and now we are going to do number 4. So Danny, number 4, attitude. So 4s in numerology are managers, they're organizers, they're detail oriented. So 4 is stable and secure and responsible. That's what people think of you. And when they have their discussion with you, when you want to argue something, you usually have evidence. You have proof to back up what you're saying. And you also see both sides of situations. So sometimes you can play devil's advocate. Like if somebody says, do you see that sunny sky and that bright cloud? And you could say, do you see that dark cloud over there? I think it's going to rain soon. You're just being honest and giving both sides of situations. And sometimes your honesty may start arguments, but you're the last one to want to argue. You just want to tell the truth and give both sides before making a secure decision. I hope I'm not talking too fast. Just let me know if I am, if I need to slow down. No, Danny said good. So that's a 4 attitude, is you seem really responsible and you know what you're talking about. The next, so I have Victor and Deb, that's a 7. And then I'll move to a 9 attitude. So a 7 attitude. So people's first conversation with you, you seem very mysterious. You don't reveal too much about yourself. They can feel your gentle energy because 7 is the most spiritual as well as scientific number. It is about the intellect. And so that's where the mystery is. 7s are very focused on, your attitude is like on the non-physical. It's like what's behind this, what's behind the physical reality. And sometimes like 7s are they're skeptics. They're known to be skeptics. He's a 7 life path. If I teach him something, he's like, how, who, what, where, when, like you have to know. So they're the intellects and the most spiritual number. And you ask big questions about life. It's like, who am I? Where am I going? And 7s also, you're seen as somebody who needs solitude on occasion to recharge your energy. And also like nature inspires and heals people who have 7s in their chart. They really, really appreciate nature. Last is 9. So your 9 attitude, your attitude towards life is, I want to help people. I want to be of service. It makes me feel good. If somebody is in need or in counsel, you're there to help. 9, as I mentioned before, are the most generous with energy, with giving to others, because they feel the pain of other people. My mom's a 9 life path, not an attitude, but life path, which we'll get into. She helps a lot of homeless immigrants find jobs and homes. Pretty much a woman that's the most selfless I've ever met so far. So that's a 9, is so much wisdom and counsel and experience. You're seeing somebody who's been through a lot and had some like probably childhood pain that you need to let go of or release. So 9s have that challenge. Okay, so if you have any like comments or questions, just let me know, or like reactions, let me know in the comments. The last thing that we're gonna do is your life path number. So let's go back to the screen. Okay, so your life path number is adding every single digit in your birthday. For example, so day plus birth, day, I meant plus month, day plus month plus year. So there's my example. I have the 28th of the 11th month of 1994. Reduce it down to all single digits, and that equaled a 35. And I have to keep adding until a single digit. So 3 plus 5 equals 8. I'm an 8 life path. So as you're done calculating, comment and I will read for you. We have 4 from Danny, 6 from Simona. Victor's an 11. Oh, that's cool. So we have 3 so far. 4, 6, 11.
Master of fashion.
And your life path is when people really get to know you, is your path to fulfillment, the path that bears the most gifts, your values, and your challenges that you're learning to overcome. So I just have 3 right now. I have another 4. Usually when I'm doing a group of people, or like I have like 2 or 3 clients in one day, they usually will have like very similar numbers because it's all about vibration. So we have a lot of people who have peacemaker numbers, who are educators here, masters, spiritual people in the group right now, which is what the numbers are revealing to me. So I have 4 so far for people who filled it out. If you need any, okay, so I have 3 from Deb. You need 1, waiting for 1 more person. I'm going to stop. Oh, wait, no. 3, 4, 6, 11. And you can also Google this stuff too, like numerology, life path 1, numerology, life path 2. The life path is your most important number. So we are complete, and I'm going to stop the share. Okay, so this is like your lucky number, your life path number. So let me start with 11. So 11 is a master number, so you feel a lot of pressure to master something in your life. So 11s, their path of fulfillment is, like, your purpose is to inspire other people through art, music, or one-on-one instruction. And Victor does design. So it is a lot of pressure. Like, you feel like I don't feel like I'm here living, like, meant to live like a normal, like, mundane day-to-day life. You're highly intuitive, highly sensitive. In 11s, when you have it in your chart, these people tend to be very, like, they have extra sensory abilities, even if they don't know it. They're very swayed by art and music and with people, so they got to be careful with the people they hang around. They love it when they gather good people together. They are the peacemakers, the mediators. They avoid conflict because it's the opposite of their energy. If you push a 2 or 11, they can explode. But in general, they're really good natured. I like 11s a lot. They're just like sensitive beings. So that's a master number 11. And it's like, once you master art and design, you feel like, great, like, what's next to master? And also, since you have a double 1, 1 has to do with, like, ego, competition, leadership, competition, and the self. So it's like feeling double the pressure of, like, am I doing this? Like, is this good enough? Like, is this serving humanity good enough? Am I good enough? Like, I feel so much pressure. And also you have, like, double the pressure of, like, self-motivation and starting something new, being, like, trendy, and, like, standing out of the competition, because you're in design and you've got to stand out of competition. So that's an 11 life path. You're here to master. something in your life that makes you happy. Art, design.
Super detail oriented, for sure.
Yes, they are. Okay, so twos.
Can't put it out until it's perfect.
Yes, they tend to be analytical as well. They like, I want to see all the details. So that's an 11 life path. Next, we have a 3. So Deb is a 3. So your path of fulfillment is related to communication or counseling in some way. So 3s, I find a lot of singers, musicians, designers as well, they like to be on stage in some way. It could be involved in writing a book, singing, performing, producing in some way, as well as design. And 3s are like, they're children at heart. They don't want to grow up. They have Peter Pan syndrome. 3s also have a huge sense of humor. They also have a challenge of going through like shyness. It's like, is my voice important? Like I like performing or giving some value, being in the spotlight in some way. 3s like to have fun. This is the most joyful number that's like, I just want to be happy. I don't want to be that responsible. So that's a 3, is like they're like clowns. They're the children at heart. You have the ability to change a negative situation into a positive. And also it's like, if you don't use your energy well to produce something, then you could be involved in drama or gossip. So I'm just showing the shadow side. Every number has a shadow side and a positive side that we must learn through. So 3s are the communicators. You need to communicate in some way to express your voice. So like the throat area, that chakra is where the 3, it represents 3. So communicators, and they're fun to be around. They're entertaining to me. And then next we have 4. Danny, you have so many 4s. So this is a really grounded number. Like if you look at a square, it has 4 sides, 4 corners. It represents security, safety in the ground. You make sure that like what you're doing is practical, and you seem like somebody who's like realistic. Because 4s represents the ground, and you're not afraid of hard work. Your path of fulfillment is securing the future, building a safe future, like financially, everything's in check, health, papers, family. This also represents family and home. So home is so important to a 4 life path, because security, it is their nature. So they're not afraid of hard working. They're really good at managing. And 4s, they're super detailed oriented as well, and they can be analytical. When they learn in their job, when they can easily master a skill. So it's like they would do better to be their own boss if they see that I'm doing better than my boss. And 4s, your success is to follow things step by step. It's not anything with going super fast, nothing with get rich quick schemes. So that's what people like. You have an air of like trust and reliability, because it's like taking one step at a time, slow and steady. You don't like to be pushed. The animal that represents this is a tortoise. Like the turtle wins the race. So it's about the ground. And also you like anything that has to do with like your hands. 4s are very good with their hands, and they're also known to be very intuitive with fixing things, like even when they were younger. Oprah Winfrey is a 4. She's a teacher. So 4 is also the number of educators and teachers, managers, as I mentioned before. Bill Gates is a 4 life path as well. So they're known as like, they're smart. They usually have glasses, and Jane's wearing glasses right now. So pretty much all 4s I know, they wear eyeglasses. The next number we have is number 6. So a 6 life path is the nurturer. They're the mother, the father of in numerology. You're always taking care of other people's needs. And so 6 life path, they're very magnetic. It's like what you think, you attract. And you like to be in charge too. You're the one in authority, and you treat everybody like family. Everybody's like your children. You make sure, are you getting safe? Are you getting home safe? Are you being fed? So I love 6s, because sometimes if I feel like a child, I'll be like, take care of me. I don't feel responsible. So 6 are also very, very magnetic with other people. And also a success with a 6 is collaborating with homes, with families, and with large communities. So that's where their success lies. So that is a 6 life path. They like to take care of other people's needs, sometimes so much that they forget their own needs. So a lesson is to learn that you're important as well. Just like a 3 life path with a 6, if you are happy, then the family or your friends, they get to be happy. If you're unhappy, then nobody else gets to be happy. So it's like, if mama ain't happy, nobody else gets to be happy. 6 is in charge. They're the authority. And they like to be around a lot of people, 6s. And then what do we have next? We have 9. So 9 is, as I mentioned before, they're like known as to be light workers, people who are here to be of service. You want to make the world a better place. That is your path of life. They're very much involved in nonprofit, volunteering, charity work. You have had so much experience that some people might like be very jealous of what you've done so much in the past, because 9s have every single number 1 through 8 in it, and that's where they have their wisdom. And the 9s are most confident in what they believe in. The 7 likes to question. They like to question. They like to keep asking questions about where they are and what they believe in. So 7s are attracted to a 9 in a way where a 9's like, I got it. I know what I'm talking about. I know what to believe in, just because you've been so experienced. So 9 is here to, you want to make the world a better place before you die, before you leave the planet. So it's like, you're here to shine your light. So that's your gift to other people. You have such a generous heart. And also, I find a lot of 9 life paths, they've maybe had, a lot of them need to work on like the challenge of forgiving the past, especially with family. Like my mom's a 9 life path. Her dad died when she was 18, and she started taking care of 7 younger siblings. So she felt like, my dad left me. So it's about releasing the past so you can move forward. The 9 is the very ending. It is a number that represents completion in the world. So when you let go of the past and forgive all resentments, there's a lot of success that comes. So 9 also represents, like with their money, it could come from inheritance, but it just comes back because they're so giving and generous with people, and they're very focused on humanity. So not 4, it's a 5. So 5 life paths. So this is the last life path reading. The 5 is in the middle of 1 through 9, which represents change. So they like change. They are known as the adventurers, the explorers in numerology. You have a lot of interest. Like, you can't just focus on one thing. And sometimes that gives like a scattered, restless energy. So if you have a 5 in your life path, you like to adapt to change. And some people fear change. So that's like a strength for a 5. And also, they're very passionate. They want to feel deeply about everything where they do, and they have such a curiosity. That's why they're so pulled towards travel and adventure. They want to see what's out there. They want to know the truth. And also, since they're so focused on the truth, you can't lie to them. They have a bullshit detector, and they will find out the truth. So if you have a 5 in your life path. 5 likes change. They're passionate. They're the ones that like to celebrate life. And sometimes they can be a little like irresponsible, just because like, I just want to have fun. Like, it's very action-filled, restless kind of energy. But the 5s are like, they're here to really show people by example what passion, what purpose is about. Yvonne said, wow, I have so many 9s in my chart. So all right. So is anybody want to speak? Oh my God, we're 15 minutes over. Anyone? Huh? Well, none of the guests are here. So does anybody want to comment or any questions? Speak. Danny. Yes. Yes.
Hello. Yeah, I really do like this kind of, if you look at my screen, I know I can see it. You notice my screen says P1, D4? Do you see that? It's actually, I'm in another group and we're doing like the Enealogy, which is life path numbers from the Joshish, which is India, right? I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's the same thing. And so that's why you see P1, because I was a 1 and I'm a 4, which in your chart, I'm 2 4s. Yeah, that's why actually it's on there, because it's always when we have our group, we do Friday nights. We put our numbers up there. So yeah, it's really helped me with not just understanding me, but understanding other people and relationships.
Yes.
I know their path, so it makes sense why they react and do the things they do. And it's not out of judgment. You learn that it's out about, you understand where they're coming from. And it's very helpful. It's a good connection, great connection to use the numerology, because it keeps you connected, because all these numbers actually, as you know, with all your experience, we all have aspects of all of them.
Yes, yes.
And it's really helped me with other people and relationships to understand other people in my life. When being a 4, as you said, we can be analytical, and that even is connected to being anal at times, right? And to say, okay, everybody doesn't look at things like you do. Step back, because this is the diversity in this all, that we all see things and work together somehow, just like creating diversity into unity. That's how I see it. And take the judgment out of all paths or this or that, but see, this is their path, and this is the aspect of their path, so you can understand it better. It's really helped me in that with relationships.
Absolutely. Like this, I started doing numerology because I felt very insecure. I didn't know who I was. Yeah. And then it helped me accept myself and not judge myself. So I extend this to other people. Like, yeah. I don't want to. Especially
with the life path, it gives you a good reading to where you're going.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Danny.
Yeah.
Now we have Yvonne.
Yvonne's Yaya.
Or Yaya. Oh wait, no, Yellow.
That's Nancy.
Okay. Nancy.
Yes, I have a question. You mentioned the number 11. Yeah. So for my attitude number, I'm adding the 6 and the 5 together, and I'm getting an 11. And then what I did was I added the 1 and the 1 together to get 2. But then you mentioned the number 11. What does that mean, or what does that look like when I'm adding 6 and 5, getting 11? Should I reduce that down?
Attitude, right? You mentioned.
Yeah.
So did you just ask what it means again?
Yeah. What does it mean to get an 11? Because you mentioned the number 11.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So 11, you stop at 11 or 22. So these are master numbers. So 11 or 22, they feel a lot more pressure to master something in their life. They don't want to do things that are like small, just mundane, just like everybody else, be gray. 11s are highly intuitive, deeply emotional, and they can do a lot of work they're here to inspire other people because they're very sensitive and intuitive. They're gifted, and they got to be involved with art or design or one-on-one instruction. It makes them happy and other people happy. So this is how they use their intuition for others and for themselves. And they're sensitive. Does that answer the question?
It does. It does and it doesn't, because I'm still confused about reducing that number down to a single digit.
Why is it a master number, and why don't you reduce it?
Because it repeats.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's very significant.
That answers it.
In numerology.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Yeah, so if you see those numbers around like 11, 22, 55, 44, it could be a powerful sign for you if you believe in seeing numbers.
Mostly 11 and 22. Yeah, so like when people start awakening, they see 11, 11 a lot.
I see. For me, it's 5, 11, 5.
Okay. That's
yeah.
a lot of exploration and interest in multiple things, like change, adaptable, passion. Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions before we move on? Okay. So the last part, I'm going to go through this quick because we're over time. EFT tapping for financial success. So EFT tapping, if you've been here before when I did this, you're tapping your meridian points, which are energy hotspots. So it's like Eastern medicine and acupuncture. And EFT tapping was originally used for emotional healing with stress, anxiety, and PTSD. It's been used for war veterans who are suffering from PTSD, but I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, so I use this to help them increase, to tap in and tune into their success. So what I'm gonna have you guys do is copy what I'm doing. Brennan's gonna repeat what I'm saying, so you're gonna say it while Brennan says it. So they're really powerful affirmations, and we're gonna tap them and release any stresses and worries. It's also used for people who are suffering from depression. They could end up laughing at the very end of an EFT tapping session. So it's be like 10 minutes, so, or less. I do things really fast. Okay. This wasn't. All right, guys. So we have 9 hotspots, and I'm going to go through it one by one. Just copy me, and you can say the affirmations out loud. You're going to speak this into your reality, send these vibrations out. And we have, so 9 hotspots and 9 affirmations. So we're going to start with take your left hand up, and then we're going to use our right hand to tap. So tap the left hand right here and say after me, even though I feel doubt.
Even though I feel doubt.
I forgive myself completely.
I forgive myself completely.
I remember that money is by my side.
I remember that money is by my side.
I claim my abundance. Abundance is mine.
I claim my abundance. Abundance is mine.
Let's tap the third eye. Even though I have worries, I love myself completely.
Even though I have worries, I love myself completely.
The more money I make, the more money I make.
The more money I make, the more money I make.
I am in harmony with freedom and financial success.
I am in harmony with freedom and financial success.
Let's tap both our temples with 2 fingers. Even though I may feel stress, I accept myself completely.
Even though I may feel stressed, I accept myself completely.
My relationship with money is getting better and better.
My relationship with money is getting better and better.
Because I choose to succeed, success is already here.
Because I choose to succeed, success is already here.
Let's go under your eyes. Even though I feel doubt, I forgive myself completely.
Even though I feel doubt, I forgive myself completely.
I remember that money is by my side.
I remember that money is by my side.
I claim my abundance. Abundance is mine.
I claim my abundance. Abundance is mine.
Okay, so now we're going to do under the nose, just 2 fingers with your right hand. Even though I have worries, I love myself completely.
Even though I have worries, I love myself completely.
The more money I make, the more money I make.
The more money I make, the more money I make.
I am in harmony with freedom and financial success.
I am in harmony with freedom and financial success.
Let's go tap the chin. Even though I may feel stress, I accept myself completely.
Even though I may feel stress, I accept myself completely.
My relationship with money is getting better and better.
My relationship with money is getting better and better.
Because I choose to succeed, success is already here.
Because I choose to succeed, success is already here.
Now we're going to use both hands to tap under the collarbone. So, even though I feel doubt, I forgive myself completely.
Even though I feel doubt, I forgive myself completely.
I remember that money is by my side.
I remember that money is by my side.
I claim my abundance. Abundance is mine.
I claim my abundance. Abundance is mine.
Now we're going to go left, tap below the left armpit. Even though I have worries, I love myself completely.
Even though I have worries, I love myself completely.
The more money I make, the more money I make.
The more money I make, the more money I make.
I am in harmony with freedom and financial success.
I am in harmony with freedom and financial success.
Let's just use our right hand to tap the top of our head, the crown. Even though I feel stress, I accept myself completely.
Even though I feel stress, I accept myself completely.
My relationship with money is getting better and better.
My relationship with money is getting better and better.
Because I choose to succeed, success is already here.
Because I choose to succeed, success is already here.
Now take your hands down. We're going to take 3 deep breaths to absorb all these connections on our bodies now. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. 2 more, in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more, in through the nose, out through the mouth. So now the last thing I want you to do to absorb this energy is to rub your hands together. All our meridian points are connected and the energy is flowing into your reality. We're creating heat. And now slowly open it and feel the vibrations. Feel that warmth. All the connection is within you. And you're speaking this into your reality. You can feel it and stretch it back and forth. It's just energy with your hands. This is where energy comes out, is of your hands, and your hands are powerful. And say into your hands, because I choose to succeed, success is already here.
Because I choose to succeed, success is already here.
And now take it, put it, let your heart absorb it. Your heart's magnetic field is so strong. And according to the Heart Math Institute, the electromagnetic field of your heart is at least 60 times stronger than your brain's. So it is receiving it. And your heart is what attracts everything towards you. It is of high intelligence. So one more deep breath before we move on to our guests. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay.
Can I just say, Mary, do you want to share how people can book with you?
Oh, yes. So the numerology reading, I work on people's names. If you're an entrepreneur, have an online business, or about to launch, I align your brand and I use that to align with your financial abundance and towards your life mission. So I work with purpose and financial abundance, and I align them together. Everybody has blocks, everybody has challenges, and what I do is I remove them with numbers and vibration, and I usually do name changes. And when you change your name, your personality changes, and what I do is I focus on increasing your authority, your power, your courage, your network, your influence, and your financial drive. And so this is just energy. This is energy work for you. It does most of the work. And usually the people who change their names are mostly people in Hollywood and royalty. And now we can have business people change their names as well. So how do they find you?
Yeah, she did a reading for me. That's how we got to meet. And I just want to say it was like really powerful. Like I was moved to tears the first time. I was like, dang, she really read me. And said like I didn't have to change my name because it's just so powerful. But helped me to understand the power of numbers and even pick the name for my business and see the numbers in it. And so yeah, it's like a really powerful thing.
Yes, thank you. So you can go to I didn't even post my website anywhere, but yeah, just get to know me, message me if you want to do a consultation. It is fun, it is inspiring, it is uplifting. So move on to the next.
Yeah, we forget to promote ourselves. We're like, promote all of our guests. And then we're like, wait, us too. Okay, so we are, yes, jumping behind. Henry, we're going to let Thomas jump in first. Okay, so, and again, yes, everyone, we are also entrepreneurs. We offer all of these services. I am a tarot and oracle reader, which I forgot to mention. So if you're interested in tarot readings and oracle readings, I also do the chakra work that we were just kind of working on. I do deep chakra clearings and all of that stuff. And I'm also an intuitive life coach. So I coach people who want to develop a spiritual practice or want to develop a spiritual understanding of an issue in their life and approach it from a spiritual perspective. As you see, everything I do is spontaneous. So I meet my clients where they are as they are, and I give them power based on what I feel. So let's go ahead and jump into Thomas. Thomas, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey guys.
Hey, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Brennan.
Thanks for being here. So what are you doing with us today?
Yeah, so we're going to do a little movement sequence. We're going to be exploring the connections between how you move your eyes, your head, and your torso.
And how will this benefit us?
A lot of people, especially if you work on computers, your gaze kind of gets glued to the screen 1 foot in front of you. And our movement follows our sensory exploration of the world. So when our gaze is fixed to the screen in front of us, our head kind of gets fixed, and then our whole body gets fixed, and we kind of get glued. So when we work on this little movement sequence, and we're gonna do it very slowly and smoothly as we can, and we're going to be bringing awareness into the connections between the different body parts and how they move together, or how they can move apart from each other, so that they can move in a more coordinated fashion, so that our body parts aren't working against each other, that they're more coordinated and they work with each other. All right. So let's just get into it. If you have some space, I would suggest lying down on your back. If you have a carpet or a yoga mat, ideally something like not on a bed, because if you're on a firmer surface, you'll get a little more feedback between the ground and your body. So just come lying on the ground. Can you hear me, Brennan?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So just come lying on the ground with your legs extended out, your arms resting comfortably on your side. And just arrive here and start to sense the different contact points between your body and the ground. So your heels, the back of your calves, back of your thighs, your butt and hips. Kind of sense is one side, does one side feel heavier than the other? Is one side kind of lifted and the other resting more on the ground? Don't try to change anything. We're not judging here. We're just noticing. We're just sensing. So going further up, you feel your ribs on the ground. You feel a space on the small of your back, the arch. You feel your shoulder blades on the ground. Maybe the backs of your arms, your hands, your head. Just let the weight sink into the ground and feel that. When we lie in this position, it allows the fluids to soften and get your body, get things moving a little more comfortably. And when we're lying here, we don't have to use muscular effort to hold our body up. So we can sense things a little more. We can sense the little details a little more because we're not using effort to hold ourselves up. So what you're gonna do is just gently roll your head side to side, left to right, and just go as far as it goes comfortably without, straining. And notice, is it easier to roll your head to one side or the other? Is one side more tense or restricted? Or is it kind of equal? If you can't really tell, it's fine. Just roll your head and feel the contours of your skull and feel the neck muscles working, and maybe you feel it, down into your back or chest. Okay. Now bring your head back to center. And this time, instead of rolling our head side to side, what we're gonna do is just roll our eyes left to right, side to side, kind of in the same plane that we were just rolling our head. And try to keep your head still. Don't like hold or force your head still. Just let it rest. And then roll your eyes side to side, left to right. Again, just move them as far as it is comfortable. If it gets tense when you go really, really far looking, just stop and move back to center and then go to the other side. And as you're rolling your eyes, kind of sense if it triggers your head, like if your head wants to move, because the eyes and the head have this relationship to each other where when our eyes move, our head tends to follow. And when our head moves, our eyes track the movement of the head as well. But we want to differentiate those two movements so that we can move them together, we can move them separately, and try to do it as smoothly as possible. If there's a line on the ceiling that you can track it very smoothly. Try not to move in a jerky manner. And if you notice that your eyes do kind of jerk very rapidly, covering a wide distance, see if you can do it again and just go a little smoother. Instead of jumping very far, see if you can move it a little smoother, slower. Okay, now let's bring our head and eyes back to center. You can close your eyes if you want. Just take a moment. And now this time we're going to move our head left to right, but we're going to keep our eyes fixed on one point in the center. So we roll our head left to right, but our eyes stay fixed on one point. And again, don't try to keep your gaze fixed softly. You don't have to strain and stress to keep it on that point. And then just roll the head. Now come back to center, rest for a moment. And this time we're going to do something that might be a little more difficult. But again, try to keep it as smooth and slow and as possible. And that'll help bring more awareness into the connections between body parts and how they move together. So what we're going to do is, starting with our head and eyes in the center, as we move our head to the left, we're going to move our eyes the other way to the right. And then as we move our head to the right, we're going to move our eyes to the left. So they're going to move in opposite ways. So as we come to center, they cross paths and then move the other way. So just move the head and eyes in opposite ways, slowly, smoothly. If you notice that, it's difficult and at some point they start going the same way, just notice it and then go back to moving them in opposite ways. Again, this is a very unhabitual way of moving, so it might be a little challenging, but just try to do it as smoothly and slowly as you can. And see if you sense like the neck or shoulders or back, chest tensing up at any point. And if you notice that, again, just take a breath, relax, and then just recommit to the simple movement that we're doing. And try to do just that, not any other movements, just the head and eyes rolling in opposite way. All right, now let's come back to center. Again, when we're babies first learning to move, at first babies can't move their head, but they can move their eyes. And as they're looking for something across the room, their eyes can't quite make it. So then they start to move their head and they realize, oh, I can move my head. So that's kind of how we develop movement as infants, to explore our surroundings. And it all starts with our sensory organs, like the eyes and the ears. And then we start to move our head, and then we gain control of the rest of our body. But as we gain habits, as we mature, our movement habits kind of get stuck, and we no longer have control in a lot of ways. So when we're doing things like this, that we move body parts together, and then in different ways, brings more awareness, and we can kind of unglue a lot of those habits so we can move in a more coordinated manner. So now just rest in on our back a little bit. This time we're going to roll our head to the left. And then as you roll your head to the left, take your right hand and put it next to your left shoulder. So your head rolls to the left, and then your right hand moves next to your left shoulder. and then head back to center, right hand back to the right side. And then again, your head rolls to the left and your hand comes to your right shoulder. And then just go back and forth like that. Now as you do it, let your rib cage turn as well, but have your hips stay on the ground so that as your head rolls to the left, your whole torso is rolling with it. And see if you can keep everything kind of soft as you do it. But notice, since your hips are staying still, you can't roll all the way. And just roll in a way that is comfortable. Don't push too far. Okay. Now let's bring our right foot up flat on the ground so that your knee is pointing in the air like so. Okay. And then we're still going to do the same thing. We're going to roll our head to the left, and then our right hand is going to come over to the side by our left shoulder. And then as we do that, let's push into the ground with our right foot. Push into the ground. And then roll with it. So as you push into the ground with your right foot, like your knee is coming up. And then as you turn, you can push to tilt the hip. So then you can roll all the way. So you're generating force through the ground, through your foot, from your hip. And you can feel that connection all the way from your foot to the knee and hip, up to your ribs. And as you roll, how to do it gently, smoothly. Okay. Now let's keep the foot in the air. Come back to center, or I'm sorry, keep the foot flat on the floor. And then just push on the ground with your foot without rolling or turning. Just do that. Just push your foot into the floor and feel your hip kind of coming off the floor as you do that. And like so, just push. And feel where you feel movement. Do you feel movement on your right hip? Maybe the movement travels up into your rib cage and you feel the ribs coming off the ground a little bit. Again, now let's work the head back into it. So when we push into the ground, we also roll our head. And you can experiment kind of with different directions of rolling of the head. Maybe you want to roll it. Maybe you roll it laterally. Maybe you roll it up a little bit as well on like a 45-degree angle. But as you roll your head and push your foot in the ground, then you'll get more movement in the upper, in the shoulder and neck. And feel if you can sense that connection all the way down from the foot all the way up to the head. Okay. Now let's bring our foot down. Just rest here for a moment. Okay. Now we can come, I'm gonna come back up here to sitting. Again, if you're sitting, feel the contact between the floor and your body, wherever that is, you know, on your butt, on your feet, legs, however you're sitting. And kind of tune into how upright you are. Does it feel effortful to hold your body up against gravity, or does it feel easy, relaxed? Now let's we can do the same thing when we're sitting or standing. Move our head, just the head, side to side, keeping the shoulders relaxed, keeping everything relaxed. And now we can work our shoulders into it. So as we're turning, you go left, right. And now as we move our head to the left, let's move our shoulders to the right and vice versa. Head to the left, shoulders to the right. Head to the right, shoulders to the left. Back to center. And now let's move our rib cage as well. So all the way down the entire torso. Let's move it all together. So head to the left, torso to the left. Head to the right, torso to the right. And feel, you know, do you feel like you're holding anywhere? Or is it all moving smoothly? Now let's move it in opposite ways. So head to the right, torso to the left. So that's the shoulders all the way down, rib cage, down the spine. Head to the left, torso to the right. Sometimes I mess it up. Again, our head, our body tends to follow the eyes and the head. So it can kind of be confusing sometimes when we're moving them in opposite ways. So let's go back to moving them together. It's kind of like when you wrench a towel. It's what we're doing with our spine and muscles and head a little bit. So we could work the hips into it too. Easier if we're like standing. So I'm gonna kind of come to kneeling. So then I could move my hips a little bit too. So if I twist my hips that way, I'm gonna move the opposite way. Now I'm gonna move them together. Yeah, so it's this is inspired by the Feldenkrais method. It's been very impactful for my life. Just kind of ungluing all the way, you know, movement patterns that we get stuck and feel tense. And this is exploring the ways that our body parts move together and the ways that they move in different ways with each other, and we can differentiate the different body parts and how they move together, how they move in unison with each other. And when we try to do it more smoothly, then our body can move in harmony instead of kind of the body parts fighting against each other.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Does anyone want to share what they felt? Did you guys feel anything unique, or just share your thoughts? Henry, I kept looking at your picture and I was like, gosh, she's really looking intensely in the camera. Her laying down is so, but that's just a picture. Anyone feel anything? I had to get up to work on some stuff, but I really enjoyed like the eye movement thing, and I do a lot of movement and stuff, and so that was interesting because these are such sensitive muscles, the ocular muscles, and we use them so much, especially as we look at screens. They're always like focusing and, you know, like adjusting to how close or far things are, and so I could feel like this tension in there, and so I think it was a really nice way to kind of massage these like really tiny muscles you literally cannot massage.
Yeah, I would say the eye movement was my favorite, because that reminds me when I was studying natural medicine, and what you were teaching is like homeostasis, which is like balancing your body, and when your body is in balance, there's less likely to be disease. So like in natural medicine, everybody's being taught to heal by going to the center of balance, and then your body heals itself. So I really enjoyed the eye movements where like we just close our eyes, look to the left for a minute, and then go back to center, and then look to the right for a minute, and then go back to center. It was like, that's a really big practice with maintaining balance in your body.
And this is the third movement workshop we've had, and so we were talking about how like important it is to have a movement practice for energy work, you know, like we just do a lot of like chakra clearing and stuff, but like there's literally like when you move this way, you're getting blood flow, you're like kind of like massaging places, and then you allow that energy to flow better. And like Mary, she wears blue light glasses and she gets like headaches from, you know, staring at screens. So like that kind of like eye movement, I felt like, wow, it's such a space that we take, you know, everyone wants to work on the big muscles, right? We want to do squats, we want to get butt cheeks and the pecs, you know, but like there's so many small muscles that do very important jobs too. So thank you so much for that. Is there any way, like what kind of services do you offer? Do you have a website you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's called attentionmovement.com.
I'll type that in the group chat.
And yeah, I do coaching. So basically meet with people. I meet with clients on a weekly basis, and we discuss kind of their movement practice. And you know, I kind of a accountability partner, and we go through these different practices, if you will, like we did today. And we talk about, you know, maybe they have traumatic injuries in the past that they're still dealing with, or they spend a lot of time, you know, working on screens and setting up a workstation that is ergonomic, and also bringing more attention and awareness into how you move your body throughout your life, throughout the day, so that you're not doing damage to yourself. If you do sports, you don't want the 8 hours you spend working every day to hold you back in whatever way. So yeah, thanks guys.
Sorry guys, I'm like doing work on the side. Okay, thank you very much, and we will put your information in an email eventually when I get to my email. Thank you so much for joining. It was very last minute, and I really appreciate you coming and sharing that with us. So
go ahead and stay tuned if you'd like. Tommy, we're going to go on to Henry. Henry, what are you going to talk about today? If you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, yes, can you all hear me? Yeah, perfect, okay. My name is Henry and I'm a life coach, and I will talk about planning and how planning can help ease your anxiety. I have prepared a slideshow. Can I share my screen? I'm not very good with Zoom. I'm not very sure how everything works.
Let me spotlight you. At the bottom of your screen, you should see a share screen button, and
Yes.
click it, and then click the screen you want to share.
It doesn't say. It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Host disabled. Okay, you should be able to request. Does anyone know how to do this? Okay, very quickly, can you talk about what you're starting, and then just email it to me really quickly? Oh no, wait, in the chat you can send a file.
Ooh, okay. Drive.
I see the button file. We're gonna see how this works. We're working. We are figuring it out together.
Okay, so connect to Google Drive.
Oh no, wait. It says one. Yeah. Send it.
Hold on. Oh, it wants me to connect and log in, and
Okay, let me try this. I'm gonna
see what this
multiple
is.
participants. Try sharing now. Okay. Try sharing now though. I just changed some settings.
It did. Yes. Awesome.
Work?
Yes. Do I choose screen or Google Drive Zoom? Wait.
You can select your desktop, or you pick the screen that you want to share. So it depends on what you want.
Gotcha. Okay. I have this open. I have that open. Closing some things. I'm getting there. Give me a second. And then cancel.
Oh, wait, we don't see your screen.
What can you see now?
Okay, now we see it. Yes.
Oh, yay. Okay, great.
Cute. Okay, come through, Pink.
Okay, good. So, yes, my name is Henry, and I'm a life coach, and I focus on planning and accountability. And I've noticed that in the modern days, we're dealing a lot with anxiety, and I have eased my anxiety to a point where I'm not bothered by it so often anymore. I have created a bit of a tool for myself, a couple of steps, and I'm really, really happy that I can share it with you. So first of all, Brennan and Mary, thank you so much for inviting me here. So what are we dealing with? What is exactly anxiety? And it is defined as the distress or uneasiness of mind caused by the fear of danger or misfortune. So it is the discomfort of your body that is caused by thoughts in your mind that are based on something in the future. Now, here I've created a bit of a timeline. On the left, we have the past, the present, and the future. So we literally feel something in the, I have a pointer. Feel something in the present when we have thoughts about what may or may not happen in the future. So to put this a little bit in perspective, it can be that, for example, now people are maybe losing their jobs or relationships are breaking up. So different things are happening and they can cause a lot of anxiety now. So in the present, we feel our hearts a little bit breaking. I always feel like a little bit of a pull or sometimes a punch in the stomach. And it's always based on what my brain is thinking, projecting into the future and it is feeling ahead of time. So it can be that losing my job may or may not happen here, that in the future I will not have much money, I will be broke, and in the present I already feel bad about it, I feel distressed about it, I feel like I call it like a tightness in the throat or a restriction around the heart, and it's all based on what we think we will feel in the future. It can be that we may think about the relationships impacting, or significant other, you know, the relationships that we have now. Maybe you notice that there's a strain on it, and the anxiety that you have is based on maybe they will break up, maybe you will lose this partner, and in the future you may feel unloved. So to deal with anxiety, I have come up with a 3-step approach, a 3-step way where you take your planner, you plan 3 sessions, and after those 3 sessions, I'm not saying that the anxiety will completely go away. It will be rainbows and daisies and everybody will be happy. I'm sorry, it's not that magical. But you know how anxiety can make your heart, like, I like what Thomas said, like the wrench, like it has a tight grip on it. It feels like you can't breathe, something heavy on the chest. And these 3 steps, all it does, it gives you a little bit of space to breathe. And the more often you do this, the more free your body feels, the less heavy the weight of the world is on your shoulder. And the more, you know, after time, the more momentum you'll be able to pick up. So what you need is a planner. Now, it can be a paper planner like this. This one is super simple. On this side, it has the week. This side, it has notes. Or the one, this is like a weekly planner, weekly layout. This is super handy. I do my meal planning in here because I can put it on my desk, and as soon as I'm a little bit tired, I'm like, oh, what can I eat? Yeah, so something visual, something to have a week, not in your head, but to have it on paper, to have it outside of your head. And what you do is you plan, here we have an example, you plan 3 mental workouts. And I say mental workout because it's, you know, very normal to go to the gym or do yoga. We take very good care of our bodies, but somehow we're kind of expecting that our brain is magically catching up with everything. Or I sometimes have it like, what is wrong with me? Why is my brain not functioning? Well, it is because I haven't worked at my brain. I haven't done any work on it. I haven't sat down. I haven't thought about things through. So that's why I find it very important to call them mental workout, as if you're going to the gym. We have Tuesday night, Friday night, and a time in the weekend. Just as an example, feel free to, you know, switch it all up. But important is that you plan it in your calendar. When you plan something in the calendar, I find it very important to say that other people who are close to you, other people who you are responsible for, or certain things, have to be aware of your planning, and they have to be aware of this moment where you're going to do something on paper. You may cry, you may lose it, you may not be completely showing up for other people. This is time for you. So when you have a job, make sure that you plan it when you're not at your job, when you have the freedom and time to take some time off. When you are in your family, if there are people waiting for you to, you know, cook dinners or help them with homework, for example, children, etc., make sure that they're aware of this time and take a second or half be with you and your thoughts. Turn off your phone. If you're it, close the door if people walk in and out. Whatever it is, make sure you respect that time and you section it off, both in the calendar and in real life.
Sorry.
Hi.
Henry, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Is anyone else having a hard time?
Oh no. Is it my Wi-Fi?
I want to know if it's my Wi-Fi or yours, because we're both in Vietnam.
I know.
Can everyone hear her fine? Can you put a thumbs up if you can hear her? Fine. Okay, good. Sorry to break your flow.
Is it okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Oh, okay,
it might
cool.
be my Wi-Fi.
I hope so. Okay, so we have the planner. We have 3 mental workouts, and we have sections it off. We have put deliberate boundaries on so that is the first section. We're going to just basically do a brain dump, put it all on paper, put it all out there, and it can be all the good, all the bad. How are you feeling? Why are you feeling? Involved? What is involved? How bad is it? How good is it? How broke are you going to be? How unloved? Whatever it is, from here, just onto paper.
One second.
Yes.
Sorry. A couple people said in the chat that they're not hearing you well. Do you have another Wi-Fi in your building?
No, but
Wait,
I
can you guys hear me well? Am I making the same sound?
What?
Danielle, you said she's good now? Better now? Okay, it got really bad on my side. Is my audio fine? I want to know if it's my internet or hers, because we're in Vietnam and sometimes my internet goes bad and I have to change it. So is mine fine? Yes? Okay. Sorry to interrupt you again, Henry. It did get really bad through my speakers, but if you guys, I'm paying attention, so if it is messed up for you, just say in the chat and we'll try to fix that. Sorry to interrupt you again. Continue.
No. I'm happy that you do, because I'm just talking and I have no idea what's happening.
Okay.
If it gets really bad, I have a phone I can hotspot, so we'll see. Okay. So the brain dump, step 1 is just the brain dump. What on paper? No, whatever it is that is people on it, you can curse. Oh. Okay. Okay. So that is step 1. And with healing of may come out as nervous breakdown, as thing from the chest into up your throat, and tears. It can be whatever it is that is holding you in, but is am I so good? Good Lord, now I'm freezing. I can't really find the chat. I can only see thumbnails. Mary, can you do a thumbs up or thumbs down if you can hear me?
For what?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, okay, good. My whole screen is frozen, so we'll see. Okay.
Oh, there it
Yeah.
is. A picture just popped up.
Yes. A well?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay, okay, perfect. I kind of like to use this as a metaphor. Your emotional well, you have so many emotions in you, and what happens when you write it out, you're kind of releasing all of it, and as if you're taking a bucket or a ladle, depends on how big your well is, get it all out. There is so much in there. Anxiety is basically the lid on the well, and when you start writing, it takes it off and just releases all of it. Important is that the first session, you write it all out, you get it all out. Then in the second session, you go back a couple of days later, you go back to the same text and you differentiate between facts and opinions. So what you can do is take a new piece of paper, here's your old one, take a new one, divide it into 2 columns. What are the facts and what are the opinions? The facts are that you have a job or you don't have a job. The opinion can be, oh, I'm screwed. The fact can be that you have a relationship. The opinion can be, it's not as good as you like it to be. Separate both of them, facts and opinions. Again, there is no right and wrong. There is no judgment yet. There's no need for extra judgment. All you do is, oh, here I have a sentence. Where does it go? Does it go into the fact? Does it go into the opinions? Then, when you are finished with facts versus opinions, then you go to the next one and you separate whatever is present, whatever is happening now, and whatever is into the future, whatever is for the future. Now, very important is to realize that what we have now does not mean we will have it, quote unquote, into the future. We like to think we can predict the future, but it's not necessarily true. So distinguish present, what are the facts now, and the future, what are the ideas that you have about the future. When you are focused on the present and on the facts, you will automatically start to realize new things, new ideas, new solutions, etc. Those things are great. Let them come up and let them be what they are. Some things you may not really enjoy coming up, but they're there, it's coming up, new ideas, new thoughts, conversations with people from years ago, whatever it is, let it come up. Same as the well, get it all out. Then part 3 is where it gets a little bit painful again. Let's say you have the possibility of losing your job. There are cuts, there are emails going around that, you know, people from the marketing department have been fired, people from other departments have been fired. There is a chance you might lose your job. Then what you're going to do in step 3 is imagine all possible outcomes. You go from all the good outcomes to all the bad outcomes. You imagine all of them. Now, what that does is it gets you thinking about some very good thoughts. You may start to feel really good. And then as you go down the ladder, start with positive and then you go down to the quote unquote negative, it may become, you know, a little bit painful. You may think thoughts that are very, very uncomfortable. Important is that you go through it. It does not mean that this will happen. It means that on the spectrum of all the good and bad outcomes, it is present. If you can find some acceptance in all the possible outcomes, if you can find a moment where you realize doesn't matter what happens, you will be okay, you will have clean drinking water, you will not die alone, you will not be in excruciating pain, that is how you reduce the anxiety. So you've taken it completely apart, you put it on the calendar, and at the end of all the possible outcomes, will you be okay? Now, the next step can be, think about solutions. You do a brainstorm about solutions. What if you do lose that job? What are some options that you can do? What are some things that bring in money? Can you maybe swap your expertise for food? Can you reduce somehow the rent if you're short on money? And then on Tuesday, you just brainstorm a whole list. And then on Friday, you say, okay, I'm going to choose one. And on Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to take the first tiny little step. I will demonstrate this how, whoa, that's the wrong way. How I did this with the borders closing. And I had a lot of anxiety about a couple of family members. My family my uncle is very old. I mean, he's the same age as my dad, but somehow my dad is very healthy and does a lot of exercise and eats very healthily. My uncle isn't. And I had a lot of anxiety about the borders closing. I am now in Vietnam and I just came back from Europe. I was visiting my family. It was amazing. I came back and then the borders started to close. So I've had a bit of a breakdown on a Saturday when I realized that if the borders are closed, I cannot go home. I am locked out, away from my family. First step, writing it all out. I am stuck, I can't go anywhere, I will be all alone in this foreign country, I cannot reach my family, I can't be there when anything happens. That was an hour and a half of me, fetal position, crying, all of the emotions out. It was exhausting, but very good. Then the facts. The facts were that if I stayed here, I would be safe. The fact is that my family is still healthy. The opinion was that I would feel trapped, but that is a feeling. It is not necessarily a fact. The present, my family was really healthy. The future of them getting sick. So that was facts, opinions, present versus future. Then I went to all the possible outcomes and it was 3 days later and it was really, really painful because I started with what if everything stays the same? I'll be good. What if my uncle gets sick and he survives? I don't like that. What if my uncle dies? I went through all of them and it was, again, a good half hour of tears, choking up, and a lot of energy. But what happened was that I realized that even though the worst case scenario, if my uncle would die, I somehow would be okay. I could see that a year from that moment, I would be okay. I would make sure that I could come home later and we would be together and we would be okay. How painful as it is, that was the only way that reduced my anxiety about my family getting sick. Another shorter example, what if the company that I work for completely falls over and I don't have an income anymore. I went from stress about what do I do, how do I pay my bills, how do I eat, etc., to if there is no money coming in, if there is nothing, I always have a couple of skills that I can exchange for housing. I can teach English, I can coach people, I can share an apartment with people. Whatever the worst case scenario is, realizing that at that point, I will make it work because I always have me and I can trust myself. So very important for you to realize that on the whole ladder of all the possible outcomes, you're always there. You are the one present in the worst case scenario. What you have now, your skill set, your relationship with yourself, you will have it then. So you can trust yourself to make the most out of it, to get out of the situation, to take one step in front of the other and keep going, keep the momentum. That was it. I hope you really enjoyed this session about anxiety. I can't see the chat, but are there any questions? Are there any comments?
Yeah, I have a question. Can you design my presentation for me? No, that was really great. Did anyone have any value that they got from that they want to share? Sorry, Mary and we're listening, but we're also doing some admin stuff on the side, so.
Gotcha, I understand, no problem.
Yeah, so I really liked that you gave us a really practical way to deal with anxiety and a really relatable topic of the lockdown situation, because that's kind of what inspired it. So like everyone's dealing with their own kind of blockages, which can create a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety, because like you said, it comes from not knowing the future. And when like all of these kinds of structures that we use like to access our families, to like, you know, to know that the world's functioning the right way, when they all go crumbling, it can create a lot of anxiety. But not just that, when everyone's feeling anxiety, that energy's in the air. So like, you know, everyone you talk to is like, hi, I'm stressed. And you're like, hi, I'm stressed too. So you're just like, don't read the news, you know? And so thank you for sharing that and putting it in a really relatable context.
Great, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and yeah, so we'll post information about how people can get into contact with you. And thank you for joining. We are going to have Mitzi now. Mitzi, she's on, right? Yeah, okay.
I'm here, yeah.
Hi.
Hi, my electricity isn't back on yet, so I can't get on my computer, unfortunately. I'm just on my like data on my phone.
Would you like to, wait, hold on, let me check our schedule. I think we have an opening in the next session. Do you, and possibly in the last session, do you want to go for that? Do you need, can you lead with just your voice, or?
No, I actually, yeah, I need to show what I'm doing as well. So I think it's better. I'll go later, that's fine. I think, yeah, it's tie time here. They say 12 o'clock, it'll be fine. But it's usually like an hour later before things come back on, you know?
Okay, so would you be available this evening?
Yeah, sure.
Because we have 2 guests, but we still have 1 empty slot. So we will all pray for your situation with the power to be back on, okay?
Yeah, it will be. Don't worry. Yeah, usually.
So then, in the meantime, would you guys like to practice? Henry, would you like to get everyone to kind of practice with what you showed?
I would love that, but I kind of have to go.
Oh, you have to go?
I have to leave it, yeah, like 5-10 minutes.
Okay. All right. So you can go. I'll go ahead and wrap it up because we're over time anyway. And yeah. So I will we'll do a little short meditation, and I'll say a spoken word piece, and you guys can just listen to it. And yeah. So let's all just close our eyes. And just tune into your breath. And just think about the world right now. Just think about how many people are dealing with anxiety because of all of the uncertainty. Think about all the businesses that have suffered, all of the people who've lost their jobs, all of the people who have lost access to their safe spaces. The children who don't get to go to school, where for some of them, that's the only place they get a meal during the day. Or people who are living at home in toxic environments and don't get to escape. For the people who don't necessarily know how to calm their nerves, how to turn off all the worries. And just take all those people and put them in your heart. Feel as if your heart is this giant beam of light that can reach out into the darkness to remind everyone that they are not alone. And so I want to send a message of peace out to everyone. So I'll share this poem that I wrote called What We Need Is Peace. And just close your eyes and just try and hear the words and feel with your whole being. So, when I turn on the TV, I hear hate-filled words spewing into our airways like smoke from blackened smokestacks, while wisdom is left choking for air. When I open up the World Wide Web, the opinionated worldview war blasts bigotry like bullets, dividing and dismembering us like industrial chainsaws hacking away at Mother Nature's ancient greens, from thick to thin, from growing to gone, till fallen, forgotten. Corruption is promised. Like a churning storm on the horizon, no place feels safe from its beating. As the greedy monstrosity billows over the poor, the vulnerable, and the marginalized, whose Pennies can't protect them. When hopelessness covers my eyes like a smoggy summer afternoon in Los Angeles, or when the taste of anger fills my mouth like the bitterness of bile, and an answer to it all seems unobtainable. In the Rubik's Cube of conflict, at the intersection of poverty and the complex puzzle of climate change, I recall the missing piece. Peace. Like that old friend forgotten, familiarly foreign, a wraith in our collective memory. You know, like the children we once were ages ago, and it all makes sense. What we need is peace. I wish that peace would pour over us, pitter-patter like raindrops in the forest, washing the filthy soot of progress from her leaves, permeating deep, deep into the dirt of confusion. I wish that peace would blow through the barren deserts of parched hearts caught in a mirage, arid expanses thirsting for nourishment, like the earth's drying floodplains, melting glaciers, and burning forests. I wish that peace would flow through us like roaring rivers, crashing over boulders of blindness, cascading over cliffs of separation, and carving through mountains of ignorance, revealing canyons in openness of mind, in depth of heart. Imagine that peace were our banner, that we were at war with war, a conquest against conflict with tranquil bullet shells spraying fragrant unity, piercing the hearts of all people. Or better yet, imagine missiles of harmony with subtle shrapnel dispersing, spreading out like wildflowers in a field, killing unconsciousness, destroying indifference, and beautifying the ugliness of extremism. Imagine that peace were prosperity, that our economy ran on equality, that equity was our demand and fairness our supply, that all of us were lucrative in satisfaction and rich in equanimity. Or even best, imagine not imagining our world peaceful, our world complete. Doesn't have to be a dream. Doesn't have to be a myth. It can be reality. For peace is life. It is living. And it starts here, now, in this space, in this moment. Every thought, every action, every word, every inaction that you take reverberates into the world like ripples on water's edge. In a seemingly shattered fabric of existence, let us pick up the pieces and build a better world for you, for me, for the future. Remember, when an answer to it all seems unobtainable, it actually makes a lot of sense. What we need is peace. What we need is inner peace. What we need is true peace. Not just a peace that is the absence of discomfort or the absence of conflict, but a peace that is just and equitable and accessible to everyone. So today, let's send that peace out into the world. Let's look to the darkest places, to the most broken people, to the places we fear, and send that light there. That is what we're here to do today in Insideology. That is what I'm here to do on this earth. So awaken to the light within you. Awaken to the warrior of peace within you. When you better yourself, you better the world. And allow that to sink in. Spread open your hands and feel the energy. Feel the vibrations flowing through every cell of your body. The life force. This is the state of meditation. You do not need to travel to a mountain or sit in a cave or go to a temple. It starts inside of you, wherever you are. So we have spoken a lot. We have done a lot. I invite you to sit for a few more minutes with me in silence, because this is where the true magic happens. This is where you absorb. This is where you expand, and this is where you attract. If you are finished, you can exit, but I will sit for another 3 minutes. And just feel your awareness and your beingness expand and expand and expand. And just be lost in the spiritual, powerful being that you are. I want you to imagine that everyone in this room has just joined hands. And together our power is magnified. We are a vortex of energy. This energy is yours. It is born with you. It is your responsibility to nurture it and to look after it. This society does not prioritize us working on our energy. But this work is very important. The more of us who are activating and working on our energy, the more we uplift the energy of our immediate environment, of our families, of our homes, of our places of work, of our communities. Everywhere we go, we are like candles, igniting other candles. So do this work within yourselves. Take it seriously, because we all have a responsibility. We are collective beings. We are the sum of all of our parts. So if not for yourself, do it for your children. Do it for your siblings, your parents, your loved ones. We who are privileged enough to have food on our tables, electricity in our walls, Wi-Fi, privileged enough to gather at this event when many millions of people don't even have access to clean water. If we are privileged enough to gather and to have these conversations, we have a responsibility to work on ourselves and to never stop bettering ourselves. This is not the destination. It is a never-ending journey. You'll never reach a point in meditation where you will not need to work on yourself and better yourself. So take it seriously. Take that responsibility. You can slowly open your eyes and see how you feel with your eyes open. Try and keep that meditative state and allow your eyes to fall on whatever they wish. And feel what it's like to have your meditative state with your eyes open and in your environment. take a moment to look around your room and observe your space. Observe the little details. And say out loud again, I am here.
I am here.
I am here. I am here. That concludes our 4th session. I hope you all enjoyed. Does anyone want to share what they felt from the meditation? Yeah, Mitzi?
Yeah, I cried.
That's good. What were you feeling?
I had a pain in my like center. I guess my heart, like quite a lot of pain.
You had a pain?
Yeah, like an intense like tightness in the middle.
Did you feel it release, or do you still feel it? Missy?
I felt it. Yeah.
Sorry?
But I think there is more work. I think there's more work to do on that.
Yeah.
Like
So,
I feel like I could, I have a lot of releasing to do.
Yeah, so we talked yesterday with the Reiki healer about how the heart chakra, sometimes we have what's called a bleeding heart, she said, which was interesting. She's like, when you are a healer or an empath, you really feel a lot for the world, and you feel a lot for the world's problems. And sometimes like you can internalize a lot of those problems. And so you're probably like very sensitive, and that like bleeding heart inspired my poem, because I have that as well. I'm very like, feel like really strongly about, bettering the world. So yeah, it's okay if you feel a little bit of heaviness there. Well, this evening, we'll do a clearing on all 7 chakras, and I'm gonna have, my friend is going to accompany me. She's going to sing Indian shlokas for each of the chakras. And I've worked with her before. My friend Kiki Wells from London. She's very, very powerful. I don't know if we'll have time for all the chakras, but we definitely will do the heart. And so tune in for that. But thank you for coming. I mean, you'll be there because you're gonna teach as well. Anyone else want to share what they? Okay, so that concludes our session. Wishing you guys a beautiful day, evening, whatever, and we will see you in our evening. Daniel, go ahead. I unmuted you.
Yeah, I just love the meditation, because that state of where you go in your mind, and it is so, like you were saying, through your poem, and there's something that's always been working against all of us in a division, keeping us divide us on every aspect of our life, and we become almost like a bunch of pieces. But what we're never broken. The actuality, we're just out of alignment, and that can be always fixed. That can be worked on, and the work is, with everything that happens, there's always something wanting to distract us. And I like what you said, because you said it has to be founded that everything of our creative stuff is of us in an aspect that even goes beyond what we've accomplished, that we need to work on ourselves, is the fact that it's all within. It's within. That's where you got to go. All great teachers from all spiritual religion, it's always had that aspect that it is, the temple is you, and it's within.
Yeah, and that's a great message, and I resonate so much, because as an entrepreneur entering this like wellness sphere, I feel kind of like annoyed because everyone's trying to sell wellness and sell spirituality, and there's all these people who are seeking it and they don't know how to find it, and they're looking outside of themselves.
Yes.
You can read 1 million books, you can watch 1 million YouTube videos. Guess what? I haven't watched any of them.
Yeah.
I've gone within myself.
Yes.
I've done yoga for 4 years. I've gone to like less than 15 yoga classes. Guess what? I practice, right?
Yeah.
I don't give the power to the yoga studio.
Yes.
My body is my teacher. So just know that you are spiritual, and just there are all these powers and energies waiting for you to ask.
Yeah.
Waiting for you to ask within. Okay?
Yes.
So say within, what do I need to know? What do I need to see? Mitzi, how do I release this? You can probably look up many articles, but not everything works for everyone. Guess what? There are beings that are born with us, that are looking after us, that are nurturing us, and they're waiting for us to sit and seek them.
Yes.
You know?
We're not cookie cutters. And,
Right.
The reality is there's a lot of paths, and we can follow, but we always want to follow our path, and it's always going to be the darkest part. I do a podcast and stuff, and I did one on some things I was going through, and it was on the word knowledge. And I noticed the word knowledge because I'm really into etymology in linguistics, and the word knowledge says know the ledge. It will take you to the ledge, but you got to dive in yourself where the magic is. Once you get where the magic is, which isn't going to be in darkness, that's where the jewels are, which is wisdom. But uniqueness is the key of that jewel, because it's like a fingerprint. That's what makes us us. We're so much alike. We got one head, four limbs. It's the phi, right? It's the pentagram. But our uniqueness is our fingerprint. It's not the same as everybody else's, and it's within. Right. It's within. It's accessed within. It's coded within. It's within. So any distraction, got to get yourself in, back in. When they told me I can't go outside in the streets no more, you know what? When everybody says, "Oh, I understand that side. I very much know how the government and stuff works. I know to break it down and go into all kinds of stuff about it, but it doesn't. I know this, and I was like, I don't care about knowing that. Where's our power at? Because there's a fear for somebody to distract you, or a system to distract you, is their fear. They're in balance, right? And then I said, my go home orders are not this place. I said, okay, you want to send me home? I'm going home. And that was within. I took it to, I took a deep dive within.
Right. And that's beautiful. Like, accept and don't go against the flow of where nature is pushing us. And what this whole situation shows us is that nature is in charge. We are not in charge. Nature rules the world. In the snap of a finger, something so tiny that we cannot even see it can make all of our structures come crumbling down.
Yeah.
One day a comet could come from space and erase us, and we cannot control that, right?
Right.
So it's like, tune into nature, because nature is in control. And so much of our recent history since the age of industrialization have been generally white men in power who have forced us into subservience as slaves.
Colonization.
This capitalistic
colonization.
System. And they have taught us that going within and being with our emotions is a negative thing. It's not productive. They've stolen us from ourselves. They have clipped our wings. They have dimmed our light and our ability to be powerful beings. And that's why I say we have a responsibility to do this work. Every single one of us. If you showed up here, if you were attracted to this, it is for a reason. So take it seriously. Like, now I'm being serious. Really, really work on your energy, because we are powerful. And if we are walking around, we are powerful beings. If we're walking around in darkness, we are spreading darkness. If we are walking around in ignorance, We are powerful. We are creating ignorance. So take it seriously. Know that the more you fill yourself up with light, the more you fill yourself up with love, when you cross paths with someone, when you even make eye contact with someone, you lift their spirit.
Yeah.
Right? And so take this time that you are, it's like the story of Christ when he was crucified and his physical body was left in the tomb for 3 days, and then he ascended as a being of pure light. He left his body. So go into this cave and become your light self, your being self, so that when you emerge and you go back to work, you lift that place. You lift it. You know, when you look at your stressed manager, you touch her spirit and she goes home, and that is like a ripple, and it goes into her life and it goes into her family. You know what I'm saying? That is the responsibility.
Yes.
That when you
That's a collective.
you enlighten others just by your own attention, by your word.
That collective. It's like getting a bunch of twigs that by themselves have no power, but you wrap them twigs and you get a lot of them, and all of a sudden you got a trunk.
And that's why it's so powerful.
The collective is powerful because it's creative. It creates the new. We have the power to create a new reality.
And that's,
we do.
Mary knows that as well. She's really good at it. So
that's right, but it's like you're saying, you got to go within. This is you. These are your projectors. Take control of your own projector. Quit letting the system want that control.
And that's why I picked the name Insideology. Ology.
Oh, I love that name.
Study of the inside. You know, I love it. Like studying.
It's all within.
Right. And so we have 2 more sessions, and we've been building this vortex of energy. And so, like, come if you can.
Powerful.
The next one, the first hour, I'll lead like a long meditation with my friend. It's gonna be really powerful, and like we're just building this vortex, and it already feels very powerful. So I will let you guys go, and I will see you. Blessings to all of you, and thank you for tuning in.
Awesome.
Okay, see you later.